Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. As we all know, this game is all about the grind. Whether it be experience or money, we are all in an endless chain of tasks in order to achieve any goal we set our sights to. There are a few tasks almost everyone has to do in order to get their account at a healthy state, and even some extra ones to become a true scaper. So today, I will go over 10 awful grinds in the game we all have to do at one point or another, and I will also tell you how to do them either quicker or in a way to avoid losing as many brain cells. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, drop a cheeky like, and you could even become a member to support this channel further in exchange for cool benefits in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. The only rule I have for this video is that what you see here will be a list of things pretty much every single main and Ironman account has to do eventually. And we are not focusing on Ironman specific grinds, as you boys and girls have to get literally everything on your own. Picture things like a Dragon Warhammer, buckets of sand for 99 crafting, all herbs needed for 99 herb lore, and so on. This also doesn't include personal restrictions such as a tile-locked Extreme 1 Chunk Ultimate Ironman account, who needs to get 1 million experience to unlock one tile and the pickpocket men and women for 2 years straight for their next tile. You people are already masochistic enough, so please get the hell away from me. That being said, let's begin. We are going to start with a big one, and it is of course the quest cape. The item itself is not that important, but after completing every adventure this game has to offer, the entire map will be open to you, and you will have access to a ton of items and teleports that will make your time in Gielinor so much better. It is one of the very first things you should do on any account, so as soon as you get off Tutorial Island, aim to complete all the quests to gain a ton of levels without having to train too much. Now, how can you speed this up? Well, first of all, if you're playing on RuneLite, you should already know about the Quest to Helper plugin. Whenever you start a quest, the plugin will tell you what items you need, where to go to, who to talk to, and any enemies you will need to encounter, and so on. This will also help you with achievement diary, so it's always nice to have. The best tip I can give you when it comes to making this grind less painful is that you can see every single quest as a one and done type of thing. Once a quest is done, you will never have to do it again unless you make another account, or if you play another game mode such as Leagues. If a quest takes between 5 minutes for a novice quest all the way up to 3 hours for a Grandmaster quest, once you finish, that's literally it. It's not like, for example, in 99, when once you reach an end game method, you have to do it for like 50 to 200 hours for a Skillcape. As questing can be a quick grind you can just do in a few minutes thanks to the Quest to Helper plugin. Now, if I ask what your number one most painful activity in the game is, I'm sure it doesn't come close to being victim of online fraud. And thanks to today's sponsor Aura, you won't have to worry about it for even a second. Aura has been kind enough to sponsor the channel in the past, and it's a great tool I'm sure you are going to love. Not only does it offer a VPN service to keep your information safe, but it also acts as real-time protection for all of your devices and letting you know if there's something fishy going on if you visit a sketchy site. Something else I'm sure we all hate is getting phone calls from unknown callers, and most importantly having your login information stolen due to a data leak from some incompetent website. One of Aura's most valuable tools is letting you know if any of your login credentials has been found online, so you can either delete said account or change your password immediately. They can also automatically opt you out of spam phone calls from random losers to stop bothering you while you play old school RuneScape. Aura also goes a step further, and you may even link banking accounts so it can keep track of your credit score and even notify you of any suspicious activity to stay alert. Remember that if you have any questions or need any help, you have agents working 24/7 to assist you in any way, shape, or form. If this is something you might be interested in, scan the QR code on screen or the links in the description and the pinned comment of this video at aura.com/kaoz, and they will hook you up with a 14-day trial as well as up to 42% of their best deal. Thank you very much to Aura for sponsoring this video, and let's continue. The second one is the opposite because this time we are aiming for a specific item, and next on the list we have a Dragon Defender. This is the second best in slot item for the shield slot in the melee category, and you can unlock it as early as having 130 levels in attack and strength combined at the Warriors Guild. The only item that has superior stats is the Avernic Defender, which you can obtain by combining your trusty Dragon Defender with an Avernic Defender hilt you get from the Theater of Blood. But honestly, this is more of a luxury item, and it doesn't really justify the 80 million GP price tag as of the time of making this video, unless you already have items such as Bandos Armor, Nessie Face Guard, Ferocious Gloves, and pretty much anything before Torva. How you can make this grind bearable is slightly more straightforward than before, but still pretty mind-numbing. As you know, you need Warrior Guild tokens in order to kill Cyclops both at the top floor and the basement of the Warriors Guild. 10 tokens will be taken as entry fee, and then 10 more will disappear every minute you spend at the Cyclops. What I recommend for this grind is getting an obscene amount of tokens before you start grinding all the defenders, because if you are at, let's say, the Mithril defender and you run out of tokens, you have to leave and get even more in order to be interrupted once again. At worst case scenario, imagine you will get each tier of the defender every 30 minutes, and the dragon defender could take up to an hour. Get yourself a maximum of 3,000 tokens to avoid any interruption, and some may even clown me on this for the suggestion, but trust me, you don't know pain until you run out of these halfway through. Next up, we don't have one item. We don't have a group of items, but rather multiple groups of items. To avoid not giving each one a separate position on the list, I will talk about all the skilling outfits at once. We have crucial ones such as Graceful, the Raiments of the Eye, the Pyromancer to name a few, and other important ones like the Prospector, Anglerfish, and the Lumberjack, and even optional ones such as the Carpenter's outfit and the Smith's uniform. The cool thing about a lot of these is that you will passively get the skilling outfit by simply engaging in the activity that provides the pieces of said outfit. Are you training runecrafting at Guardians of the Rift? Well, you will passively get the Abyssal Pearls to get a runecrafting outfit. Leveling up fire making through the iconic Winter Toad? Well, the Pyromancer outfit will be yours soon enough. Doing some chill mining at the Motherlode mine? You will eventually get enough nuggets to buy the Prospector outfit. In my very personal opinion, to make this grind better, you could buy pieces from most to least expensive. That way, when you're almost done with the outfit, the remaining pieces are cheaper and faster to obtain. This is not the case for the runecrafting outfit, for example. As all pieces provide the same benefit, if you want to start taking advantage of their effect as soon as possible, buy the cheapest item first, in this case the boots, and work your way up. Once you have all of your skilling outfits, make sure to build a custom room in your POH in order to save up on bank space, although if you are working on a specific 99, you could save your current one in your bank for you to set up quickly. Full void armor with all 3 helmets could be seen as optional, but if you want to get into learner raids and of course ranging Vorkath, doing pest control will be an absolute must at one point or another. This set of items provides helpful bonuses to the respective combat style, and will be extremely useful for learner content since you will need less switches and will have more inventory space for food. Of course, later on it's not recommended you stick to Void, but will be a solid option for some areas in the game. Pest control is something you can speed up in 2 ways. The first and most obvious one is by getting level 100 combat for you to join the veteran boat and get more points after each win. I highly recommend this because you're not really going to need Void prior to this, as it's needed for higher level content, so get yourself to this milestone before you start grinding. The second one is that with a recent update to the combat achievements, you can get even more points after completion of certain tiers of this wonderful addition to the game. In my very personal opinion, it's not worth grinding even for the hard tier before you get into pest control, as this tier of achievements will take even longer than getting yourself all of the pieces you need. If you don't have the medium or even hard tier by the time you're level 100 combat, simply skip on them. An additional tip would be to keep doing pest control after having all 6 pieces for you to get 400 extra points. This is needed to upgrade your Void top and bottom to Elite Void, and once you have the point ready, you will never have to come back here again and yell at people to kill the spinners at the portal. Up next we have the first one related to an achievement diary, and it's something literally everyone I've talked to hates with a passion. The Mage Training Arena is something you cannot escape from if you want to finish the Lumbridge Diary for you to use Fairy Rings without a Drayman Staff. Safe to say, it is one of the best benefits in the entire Achievement Diary reward system, so it will have to be done at some point. The Mage Training Arena features 4 activities that will give you points based on their name for you to purchase the Bones to Peaches spell with the NPC that looks like a Rift Guardian in the upper part of the building. You have the Telekinetic Theater, the Creature Graveyard, the Enchanting Chamber, and the Alchemist Playground, all of which feature mindless clicking for hours. But hey, that's exactly what this game is all about. Sadly, I don't have any super useful tips for this one other than the following. Try all the rooms for a few minutes, figure out which one you hate the most, and which one you don't feel like low-alking yourself when doing it. And simply do them from worst to not as bad. The reason for this is that if you get the worst room out of the way, it will be a huge confidence boost to go on to the next one and not be as miserable. My personal ranking from worst to, again, not as bad is as follows: Graveyard, Alchemy, Telekinetic Room, and finally Enchantment. I recommend you find your own ranking to do them in whatever order you please for that Bones to Peaches spell, and never come back here for the rest of your adventure. Contrary to skilling, we have combat. And next up on the theme of insufferable achievement diary tasks, we have the Calphite Queen. In order to finish the Desert Diary, you need a Kalphite Queen head to mount on your POH and talk to it. The Kalphite Queen head is a drop from Set Monster that you can get at a rate of 1 in 128. Some people get lucky with it, and some have to grind even further. In order to avoid griefing unlucky players, Jagex made it so you have a guaranteed Kalphite Queen head drop at 256 KC that you can only use for your POH. This is important because the Elite Desert Diary is what you need in order to unlock the shortcut to Kalphite Queen itself. If you don't have access to it, you have to run a marathon around the hive in order to make it to the dungeon. If you remember my Kalphite Queen video, I said that I voted no on the poll that Jagex had asking us if we wanted to bump down the reward from Elite to Hard Tier. And because I didn't say it was a joke in the video, safe to say a lot of people didn't quite get it, so to that I say, keep coping. Anyway, this funny bit aside, there are 2 things I can recommend you for this awful grind. First, whenever you feel like your account is PVM ready, I would personally do anywhere between 5 to 10 Kalphite Queen kills per day to spread out the grind, as doing all 256 without a break will quite literally drive you insane. For the second one, if you're super rich, you can pay boosters to stay in the cave as they heal your HP, prayer and special attack, but realistically speaking, stick to the first option. The last thing related to an achievement diary is everyone's favorite minigame, Barbarian Assault. This activity is home to one of the most iconic items in the game, being the fighter torso, the third best chest item for the melee combat style behind the Torva and the Bandos. Some people may say it's free, but trust me, you are going to pay with something much more valuable, and that is your mental health and brain cells. You also cannot forget about the fact that you will need level 5 in all roles to complete the Kandarin diary, making this activity an absolute must for anyone looking to achieve the Achievement Diary Cape. Historically, this minigame is pretty disliked because getting a team together is one thing, but getting a team that actually know what the hell they're doing is a completely different story. If you venture into World 306 with randoms, getting all level 5 roles can be a Herculean task that could take multiple days of grinding and praying for people not to rage quit on wave 10, or even for players to disconnect. The way to make this grind a little bit more tolerable is as follows. First, watch my guide. Second, try all the roles yourself to see which one you dislike the most, and you can do the same as in the mage training arena. Go from worst to not as bad. And the third one is to stick to a specific team you have already finished a few rounds with, and hopefully they are also looking for enough points to get either the torso or a level 5 roles. Going back to skilling, the next grind is a new Skillcape for which you will need level 99. As long as it's not an untrimmed cooking, fletching or fire making cape, any Skillcape, trimmed or untrimmed, is a decent item to have. An untrimmed cape means it is your first and only 99 so far, and a trimmed edges of the cape means that you have more than one 99 in your account. The untrimmed version of the cape provides 9 defensive points across all stats, and the trimmed version also gives a +4 prayer bonus, which is a massive boost if you're using prayer for any activity at either combat or skilling. On top of that, remember that each skill cape has a passive effect related to the skill, and will be certainly useful whenever you are training. For this, I have a great tip I always tell people whenever they are grinding for something. If you are going for a 99 that you are either excited for or not even looking forward to, set up a timer for 1 hour and start training the skill. Do it without interruptions, watching a movie, AFK, you name it. After 1 hour of training, write down how much experience you got and do the following. You can play for another hour and try to see if you can beat the previous experience per hour. If you beat it, you can do it yet again, and do it until you fail to surpass your previous record. If you fail, you could reset the challenge, or even stop there. Even if you did it twice, that's 2 hours of training you got by just trying to see if you can beat your high score, and if you gamify your gains, it will certainly be less painful. Something that is purely cosmetic and will have you grinding for hundreds of hours is getting your first pet. Or any pet for that matter. As we all know, pets are simply a token item to show either how spooned you are, or how dedicated you can be at a specific boss. For me personally, I got a gargoyle pet at 134 KC, and I do not plan to get any more kills after 200. And then you have the Muspa pet, which I got after a grueling 4122 KC. Can't complain too much as I got 951 mil GP out of the entire grind. Whether it be your first pet, a pet related to your favorite skill, or a pet you can get out of a boss that makes tons of money, this one is pretty painful because if you're unlucky, you can be stuck for multiple months with no end in sight. Remember, when looking for a drop, you are no closer to it at 10,000 KC as you were during your first one. So for this, I have a few tips to make it less annoying. First, I recommend you find a setup you're comfortable with. Even if you have to sell a few items in your bank to afford a weapon that will speed up the process, don't be afraid to spend money to make money. Next, be sure to unlock the most efficient path to the boss to avoid wasting time. For example, if you want to grind the Kalphite Queen pet, you simply should not do it without the Elite Desert Diary. And finally, see how many kills per hour you can get, and find a comfortable number of KC you can get each day without interfering with your schedule, to then commit to the grind until you can get that little blob of pixels following you around. Last on our list is one of the biggest grinds a player should aim to achieve at one point, and it is maxing an old school RuneScape account. Not only is maxing the pinnacle of achievements in this game, as it shows true love and dedication, and honestly a little bit of mental derangement. The Maxscape is without a doubt the item with the highest amount of utility in the entire game, as it combines all Skillcape perks in one convenient item. Not only that, but the fact that you can combine it with other items to give it a cooler look will make it so much better, so players know that they shouldn't be messing with you. Of course, this is not the case for the Fire Maxscape, but that's a story for another video. Players will need anywhere between 750 and upwards of 4,000 hours on average to achieve every 99 in the game, and will have you wondering what you have been doing with your life. The only tip I have for this one is to mentally prepare for the grind ahead of you, because outside collection logs and the pets, it is the grind that will take the longest time to complete. I guess if I was to give more information on how to make it less painful, I can say this much. Be sure to apply the tips I gave you for the Mage Training Arena and Barbarian Assault. You can max in 3 different ways. From slowest to quickest, from quickest to slowest, or leveling up evenly for you to keep the game fresh. I personally maxed from slowest to fastest skills, as I got 99 such as fishing, woodcutting and mining early on, and leaving fastest skills like smithing and crafting and thieving last. Make sure to find your favorite pattern on your way to the Maxscape. Boys and girls, that's pretty much it for today's upload. Thank you so much for coming and for making it this far. If you did, leave a comment telling us about your least favorite grind in old school RuneScape and how you recommend doing it without so much pain. If you do, include the word taco in your comment and you will be entered in a bond giveaway for which we will pick a random comment on Friday. A massive thank you to all my channel members and the people gifting subs. Your support goes a long way and my family and I cannot thank you enough for it. If you want to become a part of this list of legends, click the join button below to see all the cool perks you can receive for a monetary subscription and will be useful in videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. I will see you in the next video, which should be another beautiful 1 to 99 guide. So until then, have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.